Hello again, and in this lesson we're going to look at setting up our character's default wardrobe. So here we are in a fresh scene with an Uma in there. It's what we've created a couple of times before. So if I press play, I've got a straightforward Uma who is animating. Great, so we can now start adding some wardrobe items to this guy. And what we're going to do to begin with is head over to the dynamic character avatar and drop down this default wardrobe recipes item. And what you should see here, there is a drop area where we can actually drag and drop different items of clothing and they should appear on our guy. So let's do that. Let's open up the Uma folder, go into content, Uma examples, human male, recipes, wardrobe recipes. So in here are all the wardrobe items we can use on him. So first things first, let's go to the bottom and stick some male underwear on him. And you can see it appears in this list. And finally, he has some dignity. Now, if you're not big on dignity, it's very easy to remove these items again by hitting the cross. But personally, I would like him to have some self-respect. So there we go. While we're on, let's add a couple of more items just to show how this works. So this robe set's quite nice. So I'm going to add the male robe shoes, add the male robe hood, and the male robe itself. Okay, looking good. One thing that is going to happen is as soon as we stop playing, this lot will disappear, just like with any other Unity component. The temptation here might be to go up here and copy the component. Please don't do that. Pasting the values back into the dynamic character avatar when we're editing will break it. It basically won't accept any clothing ever again. So unfortunately what we need to do if we want to recreate this outfit when we stop is we have to put our default wardrobe items in again. I'm going to change this up a little. I'm going to put male shirt 2 on there and maybe some pants, and let's stick hair 2 on. I like a bit of hair, and these gloves as well. Okay, so I've made a slightly different outfit, but as it says, these are the default wardrobe items. So whenever I run this character, he will always be wearing that outfit. Now this is great for setting up NPCs perhaps in the background. Being Uma, you can still swap these and change these, but maybe it's something that you won't do very often. And the great thing is, if I stop and I create a prefab out of this guy, I can very easily drag him into the scene again. And there we go. He's still wearing the same clothes. Let's just stop and mess around with him. So let's take shirt 2 off and give him something altogether more fashionable. Let's have shirt 1. Superb. When we press this, yes, he looks far more dangerous than this guy. Okay, so I'm sure you can have tons of fun messing around with that. Let's just run again and let's have a look at changing one of these characters to a female. So if we were to change our guy at the back there, you will notice straight away that the clothing disappears, even though they are listed in the default recipes. And if I change it back to a male, the clothing reappears. Now the reason that's happening is how this wardrobe recipe is defined. So let's have a quick look at that. Now over here we drill down into the human male folder. You'll notice there's a human female folder as well. So let's pick an item from here. Let's have a look at this male robe hood, for example. This is a wardrobe recipe. Now don't worry, it looks a little bit complicated, but if we just look down the screen and maybe hit this collapse all button, you should recognize this area at the bottom. It's what we found on our base recipe. So there's a list of slots. If we open this up, you'll see there are also the overlays we talked about, which are the textures that go on there. So it's exactly like your base recipe. We've also got these shared colors, which again we're going to look at later on. What's different with the wardrobe recipe is this area at the top, and this allows us to define certain things about this wardrobe recipe. I think the first thing we really need to pay attention to is the races that this particular item is compatible with. So you can see here we have human male and human male DCS listed here. This means that this item of clothing will only ever appear if the race is one of these two guys. Very easy, we can click and pick from the list of races. So when you're defining a wardrobe item, this can be altered, but let's not mess around with that right now. I just want you to know that that's what's stopping our clothing from appearing on the female. There's a couple of other things that happen. The wardrobe slot here is where this particular item of clothing fits. It's listed as a helmet, so if I drop it down, you can see there is a list of lots of different locations where you could set an item of clothing to fit, but this one's set to helmet. What else we've got is down here we've got suppress wardrobe slots. So what this does, this allows this item to suppress something else. So whenever you put this helmet on, we can say suppress the hair. So if we have hair, it will remove it. It won't actually take it off the Uma, it will just stop it from rendering. Let's actually try that out. So if we run again, we've got some hair on our character. If I take our character here and add this hood, it's been told to suppress the hair. Let's pop that on and you can see the hair disappears. Look at that. When we remove the hood, the hair returns. Okay? So this means we can do some very clever things with our wardrobe. So let's go back to this hood and finish off looking through what we can do. We can also get it to hide one of the base recipe slots. So as you can see in here, these are the slots from our base recipe. We could make, for example, we can make the robe actually hide the legs of the character. In fact, let's have a look at the robe rather than the hood. And there we go, you can see it suppresses anything that you're wearing on the legs, and it also hides the male torso and the legs. So it takes these off the base recipe. All very clever stuff. But the upshot is, when we get round to creating our own recipes, we can set them up to work only under whatever conditions we want and to hide whatever we want from our character. So one thing I would like to do here is let's just close up the male recipes. Let's add, let's go into the female recipes, and in the human female area let's take female undies and let's pop that onto there as well. Now again, because this is set to only work with human female characters, it won't make any difference when we run to our male character. However, if we switch that character over to a female, as you can see, she then starts to get her outfit. So it's very versatile, very easy to create some standard NPCs and fiddle about with them, or just create yourself a fixed player to begin with a preset default wardrobe actually on them. So I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. These are the people who made this video possible. And if you'd like to support me, please click the link that appears at the end of this video. I'll see you next time.